Let's get into all things mediumship. Now let's get into all things mediumship. The way that we tend to see mediumship discussed, especially within the pop culture sphere, is kind of like Ouija boards and crystals and seances where the chairs shake, which are all things that can totally happen, but mediumship is not just these things, and mediumship isn't only talking to dead people. The way that I describe mediumship is having a more intentional way that you connect with the world and the energy all around you, and practicing discernment, meaning discernment between what's my energy, what's someone else's, and what might be, say, a spirit. Because the world is communicating with us at all times, and it's up to you if you decide to listen and if you decide to practice that discernment. It is so common in my line of work that I hear from people who are empathic or sensitive to energies, who tend to kind of absorb stuff from people around them, and they can actually have a hard time telling what is theirs and what might be someone else's. So for instance, developing mediumship abilities could really help you with that and help lift some of that emotional weight or that kind of sensitivity. By learning discernment, by learning to protect yourself and do regular cleansings, or what we might call spiritual hygiene, your experience in the world can be a lot less jarring and anxiety-inducing. When we are equipped with the right tools, mediumship can be a very connective and liberating process. When we don't have mentors or teachers or elders to guide us through these practices, they can seem very overwhelming, because having communication with spirits and energy can seem like a really draining thing, and I've found that that tends to be the dominant narrative. But in learning how to open and close connections, and how to properly interpret messages, and how to have boundaries with spirits and energies and with yourself, mediumship can be so exciting. It can be exciting to grow that connection and move through the world in that way. So if you are someone who tends to have these spirit or ghost encounters, if you want to learn protection and grounding techniques, if you'd like to learn how to communicate with ancestors or past loved ones and develop the gifts that you already know you have, the class that I'm teaching this summer called Beyond the Veil might very well be a good fit for you. This will be my second time teaching this class, and I developed this curriculum because I noticed a lot of these kind of dominant narratives in the media and in pop culture, and I noticed a lot of people having interest in developing, their intuitive abilities or their clair abilities, if you're familiar with that term. And there's a lot of different spiritual teachers or gurus or social media influencers out there who are teaching people about clair abilities or developing psychic connection, but I noticed that a lot of the stuff out there was missing this grounding element. For me, the grounding elements are ancestral veneration, ancestral practices, learning from a decolonial lens, learning about giving offerings and kind of having relationship with the world instead of treating it like this thing that we should just be extracting from, or that like owes us something. And also talking about the more community aspects of these practices and the histories of them as well. Beyond the Veil is going to go over all of these things. We're going to be super rooted and grounded as we do it. And this is an 8-week virtual class where we'll be meeting as a group every week, each Thursday, to go over different topics and lectures. I'll be giving everyone resources and practices to try at home, so that we can come back and talk about the experiences that we're having. And we're also going to be having some group practices within the class. So this is an intro to mediumship class, meaning it's there for beginners, and also if you are someone who already has experience working with spirits or ancestors and you just want to develop those skills a little bit more. A really big part of this class is also bringing joy into the practice and removing fear that we might have with communicating with spirits or energies around us. Remembering that this is a very human and natural way of existing with the world pre-colonialism. So here's our week-by-week curriculum. Week 1 will be an introduction to mediumship. We'll be going over some of the history of mediumship and talking about how the psychic realm is neutral. Week 2 will be all things ancestral veneration, beginning your ancestor work. Week 3, grounding and intuitive development. Week 4, understanding the metaphysical body. Week 5, interpreting spiritual message, understanding the symbols and the different things that get sent to you. Week 6, upgrading the etheric body. So we'll be doing an energetic upgrade all together as a group. Week 7, we'll be doing practice with the whole class. Everyone will get to practice their mediumship abilities and kind of get feedback and also have readings done for them. And then week 8, we'll be taking everything, putting it together, talking about how to move with this practice into the world beyond the class. Each week I'll be uploading new resources for you to take home and practice and learn from, and you'll have those resources forever outside of the class. Each of the classes will also be recorded and uploaded, so if there are classes that you'll be missing, you'll be able to view the lectures afterwards, and the lectures will be there for a good time after the class as well, so you can absorb all that knowledge. We'll also be in a Discord group all together throughout the class so that we can communicate about experiences that we're having and, get suggestions from each other or meet up to do practices together or, Zoom call or something. Each week we'll be meeting on a Thursday for 90 minutes for the class, meeting at 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And the class runs from May 23rd to July 11th. All of the knowledge in this class comes from my elders that I've learned over the last 7 or 8 years. It comes from books and resources and videos, and then also practice. I've been a practicing medium for the last 4 years, and so kind of describing what I found, what has worked for me, what hasn't, and sharing stories about my mediumship journey with y'all. I don't think you're gonna wanna miss it. So you can sign up for the class now, and if you'd like to have a payment plan option, you can just send me a message. I'm gonna put my email down below so you can just automatically send that. I offer anywhere from a 4 to 10 week payment plan with a small deposit being due up front. I hope to see you in class.